Rescue crews were overhead 30 minutes after the helicopter went down in the cold Atlantic. 10 minutes later, rescuers hoisted aboard the first 2 crew members. A 5th crew member was nowhere in sight.
I started getting updates on my phone about a helicopter crash. We get helicopter crashes, in the aviation community, just crashes happen every once in a while, so I didn't think much of it.
When I saw my youth pastor, Ben, and he said he was there to pick me up, and I didn't know what was going on. I actually thought it was like a surprise thing.
I pulled my phone out and we were just talking, and I had a headline from Fox News that said that there had been a Navy helicopter crash.
3.5 hours after I had found out about the crash, I was pulled aside and I was told that Sean was in fact the one that was missing. Sean and I met when I was 9 and he was 11. I thought he was the cutest thing ever. Just thought he was wonderful. We decided to get married in June of 1993. I was 16, he was 18. After we got married at Love's Wedding Chapel, we drove back to Fresno because Sean and I caught a flight out the very next morning at like 6 a.m. to fly to Illinois. He was stationed in Great Lakes at that time. And that was our official start of our marriage. We left Hawaii April of 1997. And, I was pregnant with Brady. Christopher was a little over a year. And we moved to San Diego in August of 1997. Our second baby boy was born, Brady. He was just this little massive guy, which he hates for me to talk about because I'm always like, you were the big baby. I loved having a second boy. I really did. And I at that point really felt like a good boy mom. November of 2000, along came Ethan, our third little boy, and he was, just as chill as could be, which was the third kid he needed to be at that point. So I had these 3 amazing little boys, and they were just wonderful. And Sean was back on shore duty at that point and going to a school.
And the search continues this morning for a missing sailor after a deadly Navy helicopter crash. The chopper went into the ocean yesterday about 20 miles off Virginia Beach. The aircraft was based at Naval Station Norfolk. The accident happened one day after a U.S. Air Force helicopter crashed in England, killing all 4 airmen aboard.
He played a lot of roles. He played the Navy officer, he played a dad, he played a coach. He was definitely a role model. He taught me almost everything I know.
So we moved all over the place with Dad being in the military and everything. I think Dad made it a lot of fun as far as wherever we were, he made sure we got to do all the fun stuff there was to do around.
Well, growing up in a military family, Dad definitely had to go on leave and stuff like that. But anytime he was home, he was definitely a family man. He always wanted to spend time with his 3 boys, and he always wanted to spend time with Mom. We spent a lot of family time together on any chance we got.
He really wanted to be a pilot. He had always wanted to be a pilot since he was young. He'd always talked about it, and I think that was one of the big things about us getting married so early is so many people just thought that us being married would ruin his chance at being a pilot.
The weather is impacting the search in the Navy helicopter crash. The Navy tells us they temporarily suspended dive operations as a safety precaution. The USS Dunham and USNS Medgar Evers returned to Naval Station Norfolk a few hours ago. They've been on the lookout for missing sailor Sean Snyder and the wreckage of the Navy helicopter that went down on Wednesday. Officials say recovery operations off the Virginia Beach coast will continue as soon as the weather gets better.
It would be reported on the news that the divers weren't searching anymore, but that wasn't true. We knew that they were still searching. It was just the way stuff was reported. It was just a lot of the same for about 5 days. And on Monday, 5 days after the crash, we were told that they had found Sean in the cockpit of the helicopter, which is, at this point, we knew that's where he was going to be found.
The first thing I thought I was going to have to do, and I was okay with it, was I thought I was going to have to step up as the oldest in the house and get a job. I thought, traditional, get a job, take over for the family, and start being the family man of the house. After talking with my mom, that was not what she wanted for me, and she knew Dad didn't want that either. Dad wanted me to go to college.
Tuesday night, a group of us went to the pier, and we were there when the divers brought him off the ship. But earlier in the day, there was a big rainbow that appeared in the sky. We all saw it, people took pictures of it, it was pretty. It was just this dark, ugly cloud, and then all of a sudden this rainbow. Later on, we found out that the divers had called the Commodore and told him this story, that the second that they broke the surface of the water, you know, with Sean bringing him up to the ship, that the clouds parted and this huge rainbow appeared. And that's the rainbow we had seen earlier in the day.
The Patriot Guard riders stood a silent vigil outside as, one by one, mourners made their way into Naval Station Norfolk's DeVary Hall. It was standing room only inside for the memorial service for Lieutenant Sean Snyder, Lieutenant Wesley Van Dorn, and Petty Officer Brian Collins. All three squadron mates killed in last week's MH-53 Sea Dragon crash in the Atlantic.
We've just passed the anniversary of Sean's death, and it's been a whirlwind, you know. I never, ever, ever in a million years thought I would be a widow. It's a new normal, as you know, a lot of people like to say, and it's true, it is a new normal. Some days are much easier than others, and some days are very, very difficult.
Life now is definitely different. It's a new reality, but you same memories. A year has gone by, and it's definitely been one of the toughest years I've ever had to live through.
So for the last year, it's been different. It's had its ups and its downs. I think for a while, I was more upset with anything else for a long while, actually up until probably about June or July. And I didn't want to deal with anybody or anything, so I was probably a little bit of a jerk for a while.
Some days I just want to go back and relive one day, and other days, I mean, I'm just glad I had him.
Hello, my name is Lieutenant Sean Snyder from Virginia Beach, Virginia. I'm serving with HM-15 Blackhawks at the Ghazi Aviation Base in Pakistan. I'd like to say hello to Amy, Christopher, Brady, Ethan, and Michaela. I'm doing fine, I love you all, and I'm looking forward to seeing you when I return home.